Welcome to the writer's commentary for Batman Beyond number 4, which came out a couple weeks ago. Dustin Nguyen drew the beautiful cover. I wrote the story. Norm Breyfogle drew it. Andrew Elder colored it. Saida Temafonte lettered it. Sarah Gatos is our assistant editor. And Jim Chadwick is our editor. Hi, and welcome back. I'm Adam Beechin, and once again, this is your monthly peek behind the scenes at how we do things here at Batman Beyond Unlimited. Again, every writer, every creative team does it a different way. This is just a look at what we do in the hopes that maybe it's helpful to you or provides a little insight or a little background in case you've always wondered what goes into the making of a comic or what goes into the creator's minds as they're coming up with the story. I'm sorry for the lateness of this particular installment, as some of you who may or may not follow me on Twitter or Facebook may know, 2 weeks ago my wife and I adopted 2 rescue dogs. So things have been a little hectic around here. And while things have more or less settled down to a normal routine, albeit one covered in about 1.5 inches of dog hair, if you hear any noises in the background as we go through doing this, that's simply Max and Maggie playing the part of Ace the Bat Hound. I want to answer a question I've been getting a lot, and a comment I've seen pop up in a number of reviews of Batman Beyond number 4 since it came out. The question is, will Batman Beyond ultimately be collected in its own trade, or will there be some kind of monster trade that collects not only Batman Beyond Unlimited, but also Superman Beyond Unlimited and Justice Beyond Unlimited all in one volume? I don't have confirmation of this, but my understanding is that all of the stories will be collected separately into their own trades at some point. Now, because some of our stories are coming out 10 pages in a month or 20 pages in a month, it may get longer to go through storylines than it would with regular print books. So you may have to wait a little longer to get your trades, but they will be coming, and you should be able to find them online and in your local comic shop. The time delay between when trades might come out leads to the comment that I saw online after Batman Beyond number 4 came out, which was that what was supposed to feel like a simple 2-issue Mad Stan story seemed to take a long time to play out and felt like it should have been wrapped up sooner. Well, it was written to come out in 2 20-page installments, but that was before we knew that those installments could possibly be chopped up into 10-page chapters. So we understand why it took a long time to feel like it wrapped up. We just didn't know it was going to be split up the way that it was. I promise to be more cognizant of that as we go forward, so that the 10-page chapters will feel more complete and that you'll feel like you're getting more of a smoothly paced story. Again, though, the next couple of issues even have been written before we knew that we were going to be chopping them up into 10-page chapters from time to time. So it may take a little while for you to see that in effect, but it will happen. The first page of the story sets our location. It's a long-abandoned grocery store on one of Gotham's lowest levels, where Stan is going to meet the Russian mobsters to exchange the explosives he took from them for the dog they took in revenge, Stan's beloved Boom Boom. I want to direct your attention to the name of the store, Chua Groceries. There's a long-standing unspoken tradition in all the Batman comics to name Gotham locations after creators who have worked on the books. Ernie Chan, who sometimes went by Ernie Chua, worked a lot as a Batman penciler and cover artist, particularly in the 1970s and 1980s. In fact, he drew the cover for the very first Batman comic I ever owned. I met him once at a convention, and I was going to tell him this when I started flipping through the art Mr. Chan had brought for sale. There was a ton of gorgeous Barbarian art. Mr. Chan also drew a lot of amazing Barbarian comics. And totally randomly, there was one Batman cover recreation of the first issue of Batman that I ever read. Needless to say, I jumped at the chance to buy it. Mr. Chan passed away in May, and he's much missed. I encourage all of you to track down his DC work and enjoy it for yourselves. It really is beautiful stuff. On page 2, we hopefully do away with a myth about Mad Stan. He's goofy, fun, single-minded, obsessive, muscle-bound, and way over the top. But he's not dumb. One of the best things I think you can do as a writer with a character like Stan is to have people underestimate him. It's a good plot twist value, there's good character layering, and occasionally you can even get a laugh out of it. I say that because on page 3, I accidentally defused the joke, if you will, by putting Boris's glare at his underling here rather than at the bottom of the page with the joke, where it would have played much better. Now, it's no fault of Norm's, he drew the reaction wonderfully. It's a matter of me not seeing in my head how best it would play before I wrote it down. Page 5 is another example of the same goof on my part. It's a little confusing that in the last panel, what's exploding behind Boris are the bombs Stan's throwing in the first panel. On the one hand, I wanted to get across the confusion of a crossfire, But in retrospect, I wonder if there was a clearer way I could have communicated it in the script. On the other hand, I don't think it detracts too much from the general understanding of what's going on, and Norm's terrific art really helps cover my back. It's another benefit of working with someone as talented and experienced as Norm is. Page 6, nothing really to note here except it has my favorite line of the issue, Batman calling Boom Boom a flea bit shag pile. It's hard coming up with new lingo to add to the slang already created in the animated series, but occasionally I hit on one I really like or think is pretty funny, and this one works well, I think. Page 7 has a lot of panels on it, more than we usually like to use, but it's quick, in-close, hand-to-hand combat, so a lot of cuts between panels add speed and motion to it. Usually when I write my scripts, I try not to call for more than 6 panels on a page. It allows the artist more room to convey information in a panel, such as backgrounds and multiple characters. Now, if Norm gets a script from me and sees a better way to get a page or a scene across, I trust him to rework what I've written into a stronger design. If that calls for lettering adjustment, Saida handles that. If it's big changes we're making, we'll definitely all talk it over first, Norm, Jim, and me. On page 9, Boom Boom gets in the best shot on Batman that any character does in this particular story. As a new dog owner, I can totally see this scene happening like this. Of course, in real life, Boom Boom would be so hyper excited he'd probably also pee all over Batman. But hey, Boom Boom is cooler than that. On the last page, last panel, the script called for Stan to actually climb up on the counter and press his whole body against the glass to get as close as possible to Boom Boom, and for Boom Boom to do the same. In retrospect, that would have been a little too silly, and I'm glad Norm drew it the way he did. Stan's expression is priceless. Okay, that wraps up everything for this issue. Thanks for joining us. The next chapter of Batman Beyond Unlimited, Chapter 7, goes online this coming Wednesday, June 13th, with Chapter 8 to follow the week after on June 20th, which is the same date as the print release of Batman Beyond Unlimited number 5. So we hope you'll check that out. It's a story that we are really, really proud of. It's a standalone story that gives you the origin of the Terry McGinnis Batman from a completely new point of view, one that you've never probably considered before, from the point of view of a character you've seen before. As I mentioned on the Nerd Nation podcast with my friends Seek and Gene a couple of weeks ago. You can find that on iTunes if you're interested. A character you've seen before but never really considered. So hopefully that's enough of a teaser to get you interested in that. Once again, you can send me any questions you might have at batmanbeyondcommentary@gmail.com. And we'll put that up here on the screen in a second after I fade out, which I'm about to do right now. Thanks again for joining us. Take care.